CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Nariman Isa.
Good evening. The province will be sending teams of support staff into some Alberta classrooms in order to address difficulties teachers say they are facing. The new policy comes after months of consulting with educators. Now, of the 476 teams, Edmonton schools will get 143 of those teams. CTV's Connor Hogg explains.
During the strike in October, many teachers and parents raised concerns over the issue of complexity in classrooms, and Minister Nicolaides and I committed to listening and acting on their concerns.
Premier Danielle Smith says today's announcement is a positive step forward for the province's education system. This comes after gathering what the Premier calls the most comprehensive set of class size and complexity data ever collected in Alberta.
Our government is investing $143 million to help our youngest and most vulnerable students in kindergarten to grade 6.
The teams will have one teacher and 2 educational assistants each. They'll be deployed to K-6 classrooms the province found are most in need. The provincial data also has a list of complexities impacting Alberta's students, among them learning disabilities, gifted students, and those who are learning English as a second language.
The range and intensity of student needs are all contributing factors to complexity, and many classrooms are experiencing several of these factors at one time.
We all know a single initiative cannot reverse the years of erosion in supports, staffing, and resources caused by the chronic underfunding of this government.
Alberta Teachers Association President Jason Schilling says the data released today confirms what teachers have been saying, that complexities appear in most classrooms in the province. Schilling says today's announcement needs to be followed by broader supports and for higher grades.
Alberta must commit to stable, predictable, and adequate funding that reflects the full scope of the need across the entire education system.
The money for this project comes from last year's budget, now allocated to education. Smith says Albertans can expect more resources announced in the budget later this month.
Our message to teachers and to school administrators is this: we have heard you, we're here for you, and help is on the way.
Now, CTV News spoke with some teachers who say while the news is encouraging, they need to hear the specifics. Now, they question where qualified people can be found quickly and if they are equipped to deal with the list of complexities noted by the province. The education minister says the money will be made available to school divisions immediately so they can begin the hiring process. And today's announcement also leaves 179 schools that are flagged as high priority as uncovered. Alberta's education minister has ordered all schools in the province to review their security measures. It follows the deadly shooting in Tumbler Ridge, BC. CTV's Jordan Canagan reports.
As Alberta's neighbors to the west mourn, our province is determining how prepared schools are here should the unthinkable unfold.
I will be asking school boards to undertake an audit of their security measures to make sure that all doors are locking properly as they should, intercoms are working as they should, safety equipment is where it needs to be and updated.
Alberta will also work with school resource officers and could consider whether key codes or swipe cards should be required to access any school.
I'll also be conducting an audit of provincial standards with respect to security measures to make sure that we have adequate minimum standards for our school divisions and evaluate whether those minimum standards need to be elevated or updated.
The review coming after RCMP have responded to at least 4 school gun complaints and threats in Alberta since Tuesday. They've happened in High River, Sherwood Park, Edson, and Fort McMurray. An 18-year-old man charged with uttering threats in the latter incident. All other complaints determined to be unfounded. The tragedy in Tumbler Ridge, all too familiar for Dale Lang. His son Jason was killed in a school shooting in Tabor in 1999.
I'm really sad and unfortunate that another tragedy of this nature has happened in our country. It's a hard thing to deal with, and it's hard to understand how people get to a place where they do something so horrendously terrible.
Alberta is also offering up additional mental health and grief counseling help to BC after the unthinkable became reality. Jordan Canigan, CTV News, Calgary.
Well, charges have been withdrawn against one of the two people charged in an alleged assault at a daycare. In March, we heard from a mother who said her son had been assaulted at Little Stars Daycare in Spruce Grove. She says she was alerted by the daycare's management and shown video footage. Police laid 6 assault charges against 2 people. Court records show all charges against 32-year-old Dimpy Bawa has been withdrawn. Now, the Crown prosecutor confirms 29-year-old Shivani is still facing 2 counts of assault. More than 8,000 Albertans are sharing their horror stories from visits to emergency departments as part of a new QP campaign. Experiences range from long wait times and patients sitting and lying down in hallways. The provincial government acknowledges there is work to do and is adding capacity. CTV's Tyson Fedor reports.
Elaine Bonfield is one of thousands of Albertans frustrated by the provincial healthcare system.
When you go in there, you're looking for hope.
Bonfield walked into South Health Campus 3 times in October complaining of severe chest pain. She says no investigation or pain management was given.
They told me I needed urgent scope, and I still don't have it. And that was in October. We're sitting in waiting rooms for 8 hours around other people that are, either really upset. There's violence in the waiting rooms. There's people that are vomiting beside you, children screaming. It's a very unsafe, scary environment.
Following that visit, she received a referral for a scope in December. It was deemed semi-urgent, but the wait time is between 5 and 10 months.
Those horror stories are just going to keep on going, and more people are going to have horrendous outcomes waiting in our waiting rooms.
Bonfield is participating in an online campaign launched by QP, which represents 44,000 employees in Alberta, including many healthcare workers. The union wants Premier Danielle Smith to declare a state of emergency on healthcare.
Every time we uncover a new problem, we solve it.
The Premier touted her government's new family doctors and a new nurse practitioner model as being a success.
There's no question more work needs to be done on the first point of access people have going into emergency room, making sure that people aren't parked in emergency treatment beds, that there are open beds so that if somebody needs to be an inpatient, that they're moved along, and that will change the experience people have.
Bonfield just wants to see more mental health support for patients and additional beds.
And I've also just lost hope at this point. I'm telling my family, we need to be healthy because I don't want to rely on the emergency systems or the healthcare system.
Now, Grey Nuns Community Hospital has become the first in Edmonton to offer donated human breast milk for newborns. As CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti explains, it's a way to feed babies while parents wait for their own supply.
Inside this room is a fridge filled with donated breast milk for newborns.
We think it's a really great option to offer our families. There's a lot of situations where women...
Last month, the Grey Nuns Community Hospital started offering donated milk to parents beyond just NICU babies. The milk comes from Northern Star Mother's Milk Bank in Calgary.
Northern Star Mother's Milk Bank accepts donations of milk from screened donors from all across Canada. Many here in Calgary and in Edmonton.
The donated milk is offered to parents who can't yet produce their own.
And the hope is that their own milk would be in by that time. If it's not, then they can purchase up to 10 bottles while they're here in the hospital to use and to take home.
Each of these 120 milliliter bottles are $19. While parents can choose formula for free, this Covenant Health clinical nurse specialist says human breast milk has added benefits.
For the baby, really, it is a first dose and a great dose of the vaccination of infections.
Anderson says selling it in the hospital can prevent parents from looking for shared breast milk that hasn't been pasteurized and is potentially unsafe.
If they have an infection, if they have certain bacteria, if they have HIV, if they have HSV, if they have any of that, that can pass into the breast milk. And if that is shared with another baby, that baby now will have it.
Covenant Health says it plans to expand the program to Misericordia Hospital in the spring. Parents wanting to buy pasteurized breast milk can also buy it from co-op pharmacies in Chappelle and Hawkstone. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
Now, despite the record-breaking snowfall some parts of Alberta saw in December, Alberta Wildfire says it's too early to tell what this year's fire risk will be.
What's here today is not going to be as important as what we see on the ground as we get into mid to late March and into early April.
Alberta Wildfire says any snow that is melting now won't soak into the ground since it's still frozen. Wildfire season officially starts March 1st, but there have been 4 new fires since the start of the year. 282 hectares have burned, mostly in the Rocky Mountain House Forest area.
Fire only grows when given the right conditions and the opportunity, and that opportunity is out there now because we are seeing open ground without snow, and we have dead and dried fine fuels, we call them, grasses. So we just ask people to be extra careful when they're out on the landscape, whether they're hunting or winter camping or whatever it is they're doing out there.
The province was supposed to announce how much it plans to spend on wildfire resources for the upcoming season in a press conference yesterday. Now, it was postponed due to the Tumbler Ridge shooting. Well, yesterday we told you about a bear cub that was rescued from a deck in Slave Lake, and today the people who found the cub sent us a video of the rescue. Now, Ben Fiddler says his wife stores bird seed in a box, and he says she was surprised when she opened the box to get some of that seed and saw the cub. Fish and wildlife officers rescued it. It was taken to the Alberta Institute for Wildlife Conservation. That is north of Calgary. Now, staff there suspect the cub's mother was killed. Now, the Institute says without her guidance, he wouldn't or couldn't gain the weight needed to hibernate. Now, the hope is to release the cub back into the wild in June. The city is developing a catalog of design templates for infill homes. It says the templates will make the building process easier and faster. CTV's Jeremy Thompson reports.
Fresh from a 2-day meeting where infill homes were described like this.
Some of these eightplexes are, let's face it, but ugly.
The mayor is excited about a new catalog of infill templates the city's housing team is developing, a menu of pre-approved design options for a range of housing types.
The more we can do to try to provide greater opportunities for certainty, that benefits everyone involved, and in turn can likely result in even more housing getting built, which is still our end goal.
The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation published its own catalog of infill templates last year. It includes designs targeted at different regions of the country, but the Alberta section has just 7 to choose from and no designs for 8plexes, a common layout under Edmonton's new zoning.
CMHC did their best to try to build something that could work on what they deemed to be a standard lot with some forms of recognition of zoning that would be on all these different sides. So this would be very much catered to fitting Edmonton zoning.
Stuart Carrick says the city's templates will also have a certain curb appeal intended to minimize imposing infill walls many Edmontonians dislike.
At the end of the day, we are talking about boxes within boxes. That's what a home is.
Kaylin Anderson with industry group Build Edmonton Metro is all for the templates. She says some of her members are interested, but believes amateur developers will benefit the most.
It's not a completely professionalized part of the building system, so we have a lot of individual personal home owners who want to redevelop their own site, and they might really enjoy and benefit from some guidance like this.
The city is using up to $1 million in federal funding to develop the catalog. Staff are still determining whether the templates will be free to use and expect to publish them by the end of the year. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
A sweet festival is taking over Old Strathcona. The Old Strathcona Business Association is bringing back the Sweet Treats and Latte Festival for a 6th year. More than 40 businesses in the neighborhood will be selling treat items like ice cream, cookies, lattes, and hot chocolate. The association says it's designed to bring people into Old Strathcona for what's a slower season for businesses.
And it's really good to get out and get connected, and that's really important for our businesses as well, because January and February are traditionally much slower for hospitality industry and for retail as well. So it's really good if we can get out and remember to support local.
The festival started today and it runs until February 22nd. More than 40 area businesses are taking part. Well, coming up next on CTV News, Cupid on a budget, while Albertans are dating less than other Canadians.
I think a lot of people are just like, I don't want to be doing this anymore. It's really hard. It's expensive. It takes a lot of time.
Good evening, folks. We're into the last few days of the warm spell. 7 degrees for a daytime high today. Should be about 5, maybe 6 tomorrow. And by Monday, daytime highs are back below 0. We'll talk about that and our chances for snow in just a few minutes.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Some Alberta businesses are feeling optimistic after U.S. Congress voted in favor of getting rid of tariffs against Canada. Now, it could be a crack in the shield in the Trump tariff fight, but Albertans are also continuing to focus on other markets. CTV's Alicia Fieldberg reports.
These Canadian health and beauty products face steep tariffs for clients in the United States.
They ordered online, they were willing to pay the price, but then when the product arrived, it's like 3 times so what they paid. It's been really tough because we've lost our 30% of our American clients.
The founder of Alberta business, Ellie Bianca, is refreshed by a symbolic move from American lawmakers.
A little bit of that comfort. But on the other hand, I just can't trust it.
The majority of the U.S. House of Representatives, including 6 members of Trump's Republican Party, voted against tariffs on Canada.
We're seeing a hearing like that where you had a cabinet-level member actually just show such disdain, not only for the opposing party, but even members of our own party.
The president lashed out on social media, calling Canada among the worst in the world to deal with, urging support for his tariffs. A Canadian energy group in Washington for the vote has been working to convince Americans about the advantages of removing barriers.
Energy is so intertwined within Canada and the United States that people are willing to listen, at least in the ground level for sure, and take messages up to the very top.
Many, including Alberta's premier, applaud the vote to end tariffs, but it doesn't change plans to secure other markets.
This is a good sign. It'll reduce some impacts on both sides, but this isn't pushing activity further, and it's not going to increase activity anytime soon.
While this business explores Asian and African markets, it's also pushing to create more raw materials at home.
We have canola, we have flax that is grown. There's a lot of material here that we don't do the value, the extraction. We just sell it out.
Without the 2/3 majority needed to override Trump's expected veto, the tariff policy won't change. But experts think it's still positive for Canada.
It highlights to the president and to the U.S. administration that Canada has allies.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
Well, Cupid may be making some cutbacks this Valentine's Day. A new survey shows Albertans are dating less and not spending as much money when they do go out. CTV's Amanda Anderson reports.
Dating isn't something that most people do for fun.
Local matchmaker Megan Tischuk is noticing a change on the dating scene.
I think a lot of people are just like, I don't want to be doing this anymore. It's really hard. It's expensive. It takes a lot of time. I think a lot of people are just feeling the burnout of dating.
What she's seeing is reflected in a recent survey by TD Bank Group. It shows 36% of Albertans are going on fewer dates. That's higher than the rest of the country, and 3 in 10 are spending less on them.
You opt out for coffee rather than, dinner and a movie right off the bat.
Tischuk believes the political divide in Alberta is also impacting dating.
We have a lot of kind of friction, so we're just going on less dates because we're deciding right out the gate, okay, I don't want to date this person because they don't have the same political standing as me, they don't have the same religious values or all of these things.
The survey also found Albertans are prioritizing financial transparency and finding a match who's good with money.
People need to be able to match those goals and values that are important to you. And sometimes it's not a connect. And that's why people, I think, are more discerning when it comes to dating.
Tischuk says financial stability is often a deal breaker for her clients.
It doesn't mean that they have $1 million in their bank account. What it means is that they're looking for someone who is good with money or can save, can prioritize things, not just blowing their money on a bunch of stuff. So that's really what this financial stability is about.
Some of the reasons Albertans surveyed would end a relationship include bad spending habits, risky investment decisions, and never offering to pay for anything.
But also know that compromise does happen, and it has to happen in relationships.
She says being honest about what you want in love and life will go a long way in finding the right long-term match. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Well, still to come, a first for the town of Fort Macleod. The upgrade you might be surprised it didn't already have.
Safety is a good thing always, especially for pedestrians. I always see that problem, but hopefully it'll work out.
Coming up Friday on Your Morning, we talk about the emotional tax of technology. And ahead of Valentine's Day, advice to break up in a respectful and healthy way. See you at 6.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Programming brought to you by Leading Ladies of Broadway with your Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. Learn more at winspearcenter.com.
Welcome back. 7 degrees for a daytime high today, 10 degrees warmer than average. Again, and this has been the pattern for the past little while, your morning low at -3 was on par with the average daytime highs for this time of year. The reversal comes next week, as daytime highs will be on par with the average lows for the middle to the end of February. Increased cloud cover overnight. This is a chance of some flurries from Edmonton off to the west, southwest early in the morning tomorrow. Doesn't look like anything significant, but maybe a few snowflakes flying around. Then cloudy with a few sunny breaks. And then tomorrow evening, you might see a couple scattered flurries around the Edmonton area or just off to the west and southwest of the city. It's next week that the real accumulating snow rolls in, though, especially for us here in Edmonton, especially Tuesday. -3 tomorrow morning in Fort McMurray, -5s. Grand Prairie and Red Deer will drop to about -3 here in the city by tomorrow morning. In the 3 or 4 range. East central, northeastern Alberta, about 3 degrees with some sunshine in Grand Prairie. Should be a handful of degrees above zero in Edson, Whitecourt, Jasper, Red Deer. About 3, maybe 4 into the Lloydminster region. Here in Edmonton, 5 degrees tomorrow, 3 Saturday, 1 on Sunday. Cloudy with a few sunny breaks tomorrow and mostly cloudy again Saturday, Sunday. Then you get a chance of some flurries or snow Monday night. Gusty wind. Good chance of several centimeters of snow and about -10 on Tuesday. Watch how things really start to cool off. There's Friday. Saturday, all of a sudden you're seeing a little more blue on the map. Watch this, the southern edge of this dark blue zone drop further and further south as we head through the early to middle part of next week. And once that cold Arctic air settles in, it's going to stick around. So we've got daytime highs in the -10 to -15 range from Tuesday right through to the end of next week. And that could be the case right through to the end of the month. As far as snow, there's a chance of some flurries or snow almost every day next week. As we said, the best chance is going to be Tuesday for some accumulating snow. In the short term, though, a couple more warm days, up to 5 tomorrow afternoon. That is your forecast.
A pop star and actress once married to a former Edmonton Oiler is going back on tour, which will include Edmonton. Hilary Duff, who was once married to Mike Comrie, will bring her Lucky Me tour to Rogers Place next January. Tickets go on sale next Friday at 10 a.m. and it's the same day when her new album will be released. Well, southern Alberta's oldest town is about to get a modern era upgrade. The town of Fort Macleod will be installing its first ever traffic light on Highway 3 more than 134 years after the town was founded. CTV's Carson Marsuk reports.
It's controlled by a stop sign now, but come June, this Fort Macleod intersection will be equipped with traffic lights.
Safety is a good thing always, especially for pedestrians. You know, I always see that problem, but hopefully it'll work out.
That would be perfect because there's a lot of people that cross the highway there. Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
The traffic lights, though, will be the first ever to be installed in the town.
When we're doing a new development or doing any major projects, then we do a traffic study just to see how that's going to affect things. So just with the new houses and businesses going in Macleod Landing, then that will increase the traffic in that area.
About 11,000 vehicles pass through the Highway 3 and 18th Street intersection every day.
I've been in business in Fort Macleod for 4 years, and the growth that we've seen has been tremendous for us and for neighboring businesses, so we're really excited.
Incorporated in 1892, the town is best known for the Northwest Mounted Police, farmland, and railway. But the modern-day project will be one for the history books.
One day we'll be talking to people and we'll be saying, yeah, like, can you believe it? Back in 2026, that's when they first got their first traffic light, you know, and we'll have to have a display for it set up because, you know, that's how history goes.
While the technology will be new in town, Margaret Plumtree says it won't take away from the historic charm.
Well, we've got the historic downtown, right? Blocks and blocks of really old buildings. The town really does a great job keeping it, keeping that historic look to it, that preservation. But, progress still has to happen, and it all becomes history one day.
Construction will begin in April, with the new light anticipated to be operating by the end of June.
Well, in the scope of a town like this, a new traffic light is a moment in history. I suggest we all take a moment to appreciate it, because in 100 years, nobody is going to remember who put it there.
Carson Marsuk, CTV News, Fort Macleod.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of your evening. Good night.